Bible is an interesting book for some people and very troublesome book for some other people. And if you are asked by anyone that why was Bible given to humans? Why do we have the book? What would be your answer? That'd be interesting, isn't it? What does Bible actually stand for? Is it to show the glory and mighty act of God and how bad human beings are? Or how angry God is so that God condemns, punishes, destroys, and kills humans? So you all have to be afraid of God? Isn't that though, that's the way how we think versus how God would think? God who created entire universe, do you think would be thinking like that? Like, you little beings on earth have to glorify me always, otherwise my ego get hurt? I mean, that kind of interesting to think, isn't it? Or God had to tell us the story that how mighty God is so that we could be afraid of God. Again, this God created entire universe. We live on Earth, small tiny planet in it, and we think our opinion matters so much to even hurt God's feelings. Is that again how God would think or how we would think? So Bible, again, is written by us, humans. There's divine inspiration to it. So there's a message from God, but that is kind of embedded in how humans are understanding it. So what's the message from God? If you read it very carefully, there are warnings about us, actually. In a way, how we could choose the way that is self-destructive. There was a philosopher in the 16th century, 15th, 16th. His name is Thomas Hobbes. And after him, like Locke and some other Western philosophers, basically saying that we created rules and social contracts because we're afraid of each other. You know, we're afraid that we may kill each other, all of us. Why? Because they acknowledged that we're so destructive. Of course, that's only the negative side, but warning about a tendency to be self-destructive is actually in the Bible. That's one of the big warnings, that you people have this tendency and try to stay away from it or try not to fall into that trap. And again, God doesn't care how big building we build here for God's glory. Again, God created the entire universe. What we build on earth, like, I don't know, God can't even spot it. Like, that's very tiny, isn't it? Even like entire Earth's population, we're praising God. Would that be really like big thing for God to hear it? Like, feel like, I'm almighty, it feels good. That's the phrases by human emperors and kings. Those are reflected in the stories we read from Greek and Roman mythology and other mythology, those gods who love human compliment and praises. So what does God really want in a way? In the Bible, if you now read between the lines, God actually wants us to live a good life, have a good time, and don't kill each other. Is that so hard? Apparently, that's very hard in our history. Ever since the first king had a standing army and he felt mighty, he started to conquer. That happened about 5,000 to 300 years ago. And there was a king in the east who rose to the power, and he felt that he has a lot of army, strong army. He wanted to conquer everything, so he traveled all the way to the west, Genghis Khan. Empire collapsed right after his death. And even in China area, it only lasts like 150 years. So what's motivating us to choose such a very, in a way, self-destructive actions? And again, ancient Chinese historians, looking back their own history, power, fame, money could drive human mind to insanity. And in the story of Tower of Babel is about self-exaltation. I want to rise higher than anyone else. Modern scholars actually, this is Babylonian. It's kind of reconstructed in probably image. You know this one, ziggurat. That's the Babylonians built this kind of structures. Why? Because their cities were kind of built on flat land, and they believed that higher they get closer to God. Yes. So they would build 300 feet tall. 300 feet tall for us is like, that's it? 300 feet, that's not much. But for the ancient people, 4,000 years ago, or 3,500 years ago, 300 feet from the floor to all the way is like gigantic. And modern scholars are thinking that probably that's what they saw in their captivity in Babylon. The people of Israel, Judah, they were taken into Babylon, and they had this kind of thing in the middle of the city. And there's a description saying that they want to reach to the heaven. Yeah, good luck with that, right? With this. So there is argument from modern scholars that actually this story is not written in ancient day at all. It might have been written actually somewhere around 570 BC actually, when they're in captivity. And the exaltation, and the king and emperor have such a big ego to claim, I am the divine, I challenge God in heaven. That's the name Lucifer you have actually, as in a Persian king. So, when a man, a woman in high position, or even actually any man and woman has this desire to be exalted higher than all other human beings, where would it end? Or when do you think their heart will be fully satisfied? When entire earth kind of praises them? According to Chinese history, they are never satisfied. That's the thing. They're never satisfied. All these praises are never enough, somehow. There are even a few Chinese emperors who actually went in madness, not believing you're praising me, but that's not true. So I have to torture you to get real praises. There are a few of them like that. So what Bible's warning is that if we go into a few of these tendencies that is somehow within our nature, if we cross the line, we go into the way of madness, insanity. which actually we cannot come back to the normal mind. And that's why there are big warnings in the Bible from the beginning. There are a few tendencies, and it repeats in entire Bible. And in John, I wanted to only use one verse, but I just gave you whole context. Is John, 3:17. The reason God sent, according to the text, Son is not to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Yet, the Christian theology, you know what they created after Jesus' event and after they claimed to believe Jesus? They actually created theology that condemns the world, that you're all going to hell. You're damned to hell from the beginning. Before that, it wasn't there, because they created something called original sin. And original sin, all are damned to hell. Of course, that's the way of making everyone to come to church and confess and get the access to salvation through the church. So again, this is the human doing, not God's intention. So let us take another moment, not on all these heavy things, but with this time, if you believe in God, if you believe in divine, if you believe in the Creator, what do you think that Creator really wants from you? What do you really think? What do you really think that Creator wants? What kind of life that you should have here? If you believe in that Creator. So let us close our eyes again, and as the music comes to us, let us get inside the deeper side of our heart and gently lift up those questions to the one that you believe to be your God, and ask, what do you really want from me? Well, we know all what www is, right? That as soon as it came out, world changed it, World Wide Web. Just borrowing from that, there's something probably, you probably know this, but I'll just say it in this way. There is universe-wide consciousness. You can tap into it too, with your mind. And what's out there? Well, everybody else's mind is out there too, but also the divine, God, Creator, is out there too, which is actually within us too. What does it do? Sometimes it helps you to realize how small you are. I think it's important to know that too. Once in a while, I tell myself, actually at least once a week, I tell myself that, Juncho, you're just one little human being who will be here moment. So nothing you do is that important. You're not that important either. I'm not trying to negate myself. I'm just bringing one aspect of truth about me. Of course, and then there's the other side too. The way I become important is being instrument to this greater flow or this consciousness. And my God always answers to me to the question, what do you want me to do? My God always says, have fun. No, really. My God says, have fun, have good life, love people you love, do what you can do, and free yourself from all the things you cannot do. You have heard me saying it many times, but that's the message, inner message I get all the time. Don't worry about things that you cannot do anything about. Just do the things you can do, and love the people you can love, and help the people you can help. Probably that's enough to do. Again, there is universe-wide consciousness you can tap into. And of course, you might need to do some filtering too, because there are a lot of things out there. Right? Just like World Wide Web, there are good things, there are very dark things. There are questionable things, there are actually good facts and also articles that are very helpful too. But there are very dangerous and harmful things too. You need to filter yourself. Same thing with your consciousness when you are opening and tapping into. That's why I always suggest meditation, because calming yourself, cooling yourself always helps. You can see what's coming, where it is taking you, what it is doing to you. You can see it by yourself. So now I would like to invite you in Gong meditation. And always I say that, okay, so this is the time that you can forget about everything I told you today. Yeah, do not burden your mind about any of those things. If it's important to you, it may stay with you. It doesn't stay with you, then it's not that important to you today. And that's totally okay. Just, this time, let's just focus on the sound of the gong and let it come to you. And as it passes through your body, help you to wash your mind too. Wash away all the things that you don't need to carry at this moment, or wash all the things away that you cannot do anything about at this moment. They are just becoming burden in your heart. It's good to let them go for this moment. Okay? So let's close our eyes and let us listen to the sound of gong. Keeping your eyes closed, and let's just sit in silence. Embrace the silence. Look into your heart. And see what's in your heart. When you're doing this, no judgment, no criticism, no evaluation, assessment. Advice is simply look into it and see and acknowledge. Now you may open your eyes. And we pass this again as a reminder of being mindful of all the blessings that we receive from the Creator, our God, and also be mindful of the necessity for our own spiritual well-being to give something back to this church ministry, to your community, to the ones that you care about. It doesn't matter which way it goes, but we need to give back a certain portion. And may your giving be mindful and intentional. May you be blessed by being blessings to each other. May you receive love from God by being love and loving beings to each other. May your life be filled with joys and delights as you support and help each other to achieve joys and delights in your life. Amen.